the North End. This is the North End.
And welcome to the North End podcast with myself, Luke Connolly, taking the reins today. No Brian, which thankfully for the rest of you is a delight, I'm sure. And we have a Villa special. We are talking pure Villa, pure claret and blue, and pure Philippe Coutinho. And I'm really, really excited. My number of great guys. So let's say hello to the boys. We are joined by, let's start with our resident JP California, who is in and out of COVID death. JP, how you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling all right. You are right. I am jumping in and out of COVID death. Last night I had a quick temperature shoot up, and I'm back again. It's a crazy world. I'm just trying to stay alive in it. So
aren't we all? And I'm glad you're staying alive, JP, because I love our back and forwards, and I know I love you, man. So that's great. Simon, I know you're busy. Obviously, sat there at Villa Park, and I know you're staring at a computer screen because you have got the transfer requests coming in, and you're on top of that. But Simon, Chicago Lions, I love having Leach on. Leach, how are you doing?
Very good, actually. If JP can send some of that heat from his body over here, we could do with it. It's 11 degrees Fahrenheit today, and I've just come back in from outside, and my fingers are still defrosting. So hopefully I won't have to do too much typing on the keyboard today.
Why do you guys do that? It's like 50 where I'm at. It's cold. I'm wearing a t-shirt. I
was out in this and a sweater. That was it.
Oh my God, what is wrong with you guys?
Yeah, but you also have forest fires, JP. So there's pros and cons of both things here. But no, obviously love having you both around. And JP has no problem sharing body heat, so I'm sure he's more than willing to do that. And last but by no means least, the man who is trying to make his own 11-a-side fantasy team, Villa future players, Brett Bates, the one and only Toronto Lions chairman. Bretty, how are you? Love to see you.
Good to see you all, lads. How you doing? All right?
All right.
Very good.
Doing
Better
well
today than we were yesterday. So.
Oh yeah. I got no idea what you lot were talking about in temperatures, by the way. Normal Celsius up here.
I don't think you can do that anymore, Brett. You've been... Oh, no, I suppose we're Celsius in Canada, aren't we? Yeah, we're still Celsius.
Yeah, mate.
Good old British imperial systems. You're going to love that. Well, guys, listen, we're here and we are very excited, and I'm sure people are excited to hear a little bit about Philippe Coutinho at the Villa. And I'm sure the three of you will agree it feels like a dream. At the same time, Villa a couple of years ago were linked with the likes of Jordan Bowery. We were signed players like Leandro Bacuna, and we knew where we are. So to be signing a player that just 4 years ago was sold for 135 million to the likes of Barcelona is an incredible move. Brett, I'm going to start with you. What does this mean for Villa, and what are we thinking of this transfer?
Well, it's massive in any way you look at it. Even if he has a terrible start, it shows intent for what we're planning, where we're going, the intent of the club. I keep using that because it's true. But if he does play and he plays well, and he plays to half of what he did at Liverpool, then we've got a very exciting times to come.
Yeah, no, I think I totally agree. Simon, I got to ask you, there's a couple of rumours obviously floating around, but the big one that really caught my eye is that apparently this deal is cheaper than the deal that Villa secured for Ross Barkley, which is kind of crazy. But what are you've been a Villa fan a long time, Simon, and I really think you understand the game well. I love listening to you on the pod. What do you make of this?
Same as Brett. I think, again, it just reinforces what we, true Villa fans, those of us that bleed claret and blue, have known for a long time, that our new ownership are the real deal, right? And I think, again, I was talking to another friend this morning asking me about other rumors. I said, look, just forget about what the rumors are. 36 hours ago, Coutinho wasn't even in the same zip code as Aston Villa, right? And then suddenly we've signed him, we've got him on a season-long loan, and we've got an option there from what I believe to sign him for £33 million, which is what we paid for Danny Ings. So fair play to the whole of the leadership team, and obviously as well, I mean, it probably goes without saying that Stevie G probably had a lot to do with this as well. So kudos to them all.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. JP, we're going to pick up very quickly on that point about Steven Gerrard's involvement here. So something that jumped into my head, JP, and I know, you speak honestly, so you'll shoot me down and you'll agree with me. I'm wondering whether there's a little bit more than meets the eye with Steven Gerrard's appointment, because we know obviously he's brought in and he was on the fence. There was a lot of people and fans that thought Dean Smith should have got a longer chance to kind of turn things around. But we knew with Steven Gerrard, you bring that charisma, the trademark. Everyone knows who he is. So do you reckon that potentially could conversations have been had like from the get-go? Could he have been texting his buddy Philippe a couple of months ago or a month ago about a potential transfer? Because for me, it seems to have been rumored and closed incredibly quickly. What do you think, JP?
Well, I definitely think this one was probably started at least a month ago. I don't know if like Stevie G gets the job and then he's like, all right, first things first, I need to get, my boy over here. I don't know if that's the case. But one thing I was mulling over my head while you were chatting is like, when they appointed Stevie G, you're getting a guy who comes from Liverpool who are used to spending much larger sums of money than we were. When we had Dean Smith, the most he'd ever spent was like 24 million on Mings with us, up to 35 and so forth. But before that, he had never signed anybody over, I think, 10 million pounds before he moved to Villa. So you're talking about a manager who's not really used to spending that amount of money or not sanctioning the sale, the buying of those type of players, where with Purslow and Stevie G, you are used to a background for them where they're used to spending 20, 30, 40 million pounds on players, hoping they're going to make huge improvements to the squad. And this kind of starting to flow with that. We got new owners that have the money, and now we're getting guys that are kind of used to spending types of money like that. So it's to me, it's not a crazy pull in that sense, but for a Villa fan, it is definitely out of left field. It is quite surprising and pleasant to see that we're going for players of this caliber.
Yeah, no, I think I'd agree with that. And I don't know if you gents know, but you mentioned there, obviously, Christian Purslow, who was involved at Liverpool, around that time as Stephen G was floating around when they merged with the merger for the American company. That was all under Purslow. I don't know, was Coutinho a Purslow signing, do we know, or is that...
So Purslow was there, I think, they overlapped for about a year or 18 months, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it was a part of the deal of him leaving.
Yeah, I think he was part of the deal of the sale.
Yeah. So I think it's either way. I think it's incredible. Like, for me, at least, this is the intent that Villa needed to show. We've got these big owners. We have this money now. We've been building. We've been showing consistent growth. We're looking at the quality from where we were even a couple of years ago or a year ago to the starting 11 that we have, the likes of the Watkins, the great goal scorers, struggling a little bit in the Danny Ings, the Martinez for 20 million. Like, we really have some phenomenal players. And Coutinho, whether you think he's brilliant, whether you think he's not as good as he was 4 years ago, it doesn't matter. I think we'd all agree if we get 30%, 40% Coutinho, he's going to do a great job. I don't know if any of you got any other thoughts on that. Like, is there any way that you see this going wrong, Simon, or anyone else? Is there?
Well, first point of order, Purslow actually left in 2014. Coutinho left in 2018, so he wasn't part of the sale. Yeah, but anyway,
okay.
back to your question. I would liken this as a similar move to the John Terry move, but with a longer prospect of benefit to the club, right? I mean, again, a name that came out of left field, came in initially on a 1 year deal, but I don't necessarily mean from the what he brings to the match day experience, but as more to do with what he can help to teach our youngsters, right? And the benefit of having him around the kids that we've got coming through at the moment. I think, again, what is Coutinho is 29 now, so he's still got a good few years left in him at a quality level. But again, I think the benefits just go beyond what he will offer for the 90 minutes on match day.
I thought this because of the youth system that we do have. It's always good to have players, especially of this quality, around. Even if they're not performing, they still have it in here. So they can pass all that knowledge on to the youth. And our youth system is one of the best in the world at the moment. With the players that we got coming through, the signings we've been making. So even his knowledge alone is worth the money that we're going to be paying for him in the 6 months, even if we don't sign him.
Yeah. JP, I just want to, so a point I want to throw to you is what I find fascinating, and I'll never get bored of with football, with soccer fans, is that there's always that small amount of people that are unhappy no matter what you do. And I've seen more than two comments. People I know, others that I don't know, that
I
have been
knew
like,
you wanted to come to me for that.
this is a strange one, and people are talking about it. So.
I'm super over the moon, right? This reminds me of Darren Bent. I remember waking up and being like, holy shit, we just signed 18 million. We've signed Darren Bent. It is all good. And we all know how that lasted. It lasted 6 months, 8 months for Villa, really, with Darren Bent. And then it kind of just turned into a giant lump of crap on the floor.
That's no way to talk about Darren Bent. But
not him as a person, how the relationship with Villa went. The good thing is I really like the deal. We don't have to buy him. It's a 6-month loan deal first. We're not taking all of his wages. I think the reported is 60%. I think he was over 200 grand a week. So we're still paying like 120, 150, which is still a lot of money. He's probably up there. He's probably our highest earner right off the bat, which I don't really love. I don't know if that sends the best messages to some of the other guys in the squad.
I think Danny Ings is on 130, so it would put him.
It would put him over Danny Ings. When we're continually bringing in players and we're trying to promote the youth, we really have to cut out the guys in the middle, right? The El Ghazis, the Trezeguets. If they're still here and they're still getting time, you're taking time away. Let's be honest. Chucky's gotten some time this year, but where's Archer been? Where's Philip? What's his name? Philogene
Bades.
Yeah, where's he been, right? Where has our young right back been? Kane Kessler, where are these guys going to get playing time if we keep bringing in star-studded players? So, we got to cut out some of those middle grounds. But I do have some reservations, right? He's 29. He hasn't done a lot in the last few years. Yes, he had a good loan deal at Bayern Munich, but I watched.
He had a great.
He had a really good one.
Undercut it.
But that was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. What is he? What's in the tank? What is his drive? What is his desire?
A year of it was lost through injury, right? I mean,
right.
So,
and
he's come back. I think he's played 20 games since he came back from that year off.
He's going to take a little bit to get going too. I mean, to get back to game ready and Premier League game ready, it's going to take him 4 or 5 games before he's looking probably a player again. So I do have some major reservations. Let me separate that though from my enjoyment. I'm stoked. We're going for guys of this quality. This is what I want. But at the same time, if we're going for guys like that, was there someone maybe younger, maybe a little bit more prime that would have been doable? Maybe. But I just have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder that says let's not just be gung ho about it. Let's be a little hesitant. I mean, I was it with the new owners as well.
Can I just respond to that? Because again, I think absolutely spot on with your analysis as always, JP. But the one thing that we have to remember is this is the January window.
Right.
Players that are good are not moving in the January window, right?
And it's
so
expensive.
the options that we would have had at this time would have been probably very limited. And you made the point earlier, this is a 6-month loan deal. If he doesn't work out, see ya, get back to Spain.
That to me is the biggest thing. Is this the way the contract is set up for right now? It is a huge benefit for us. It is. I mean, there's much less risk because of the way the contract is set up, and it makes me happy to know we have people behind the scenes that are putting the deals in place that are proper deals. If we ever have to sell Chukwuemeka, maybe there's a sell-on fee, maybe there's a first buyback fee, and it's those are the type of things we want.
I think is a £4 million risk in the modern game. That is nothing at all.
No.
Yeah, this is the point, and I wanted to to look at one where the start of the season, we're all raving about him, get him in your fantasy team, and that was James Rodriguez, and started well. We know how great of a player Rodriguez has been over the years, and just look at how terribly that's gone for Everton. Now, I don't know whether that's because of the player, whether that's because, a bit of a weird situation at Everton. So there is a bit of fear that, as we've said, he's not the Coutinho from 4 years ago, but I don't think a player of this quality loses so much quality that he doesn't improve that current Villa lineup. I think he brings, as you said, Brett, a great head to the team, to those youngsters. And I'm sure, Brett, you've been, in and out of the Villa since you were, a little bambino, and you were there, and you've had all your fans and your players, and you followed it all. And I'm sure you've seen this time and time again. So what kind of effect can we expect, do you reckon, for that midfield, for the likes of Jacob Ramsey and stuff, getting to be around a Brazilian legend, a international legend, a Liverpool great, all these things?
Well, I'm sure to begin with they'll be pretty starstruck. But once that's settled in and they've kind of relaxed around him, which might take a little bit of time because he is such a big star.
It's shocking.
It'll give him.
It's like it's shocking. It's like
it'll give him another idea.
Being sober after 11 a.m. It's like
no,
like, what?
11. He's asleep by 11.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. This isn't an intervention.
Anyway,
although it's
it'll give them like another, even with the current coaching system, and they'll get told one thing, it'll give them another idea and another way of thinking how they can go about their playing, their style there. It will just give them fresh ideas and things that they're not doing right. The coaching staff will tell them to do one thing. It will give them another, oh, you could try this as well, because he has done it all. Let's be honest. He's done more than most clubs on himself, on his own.
Yeah,
so,
and that as well is the point that, again, going back to what JP said about others maybe being a little bit miffed that he's earning so much. Just get him to bring his medals in on the first day. His medals explain why he's getting paid as much as he's being paid, right? And
I was more concerned by Brett talking about Danny Ings. Are you sure Danny Ings is on 130,000 a week?
That's what I read online. That's not a fact, so believe it at your own peril. But that's what I read.
I did hear he doubled his wages to come to Villa.
Wow, no wonder he came there. I was thinking he wanted to come. But just so you boys know, I'm not sure if you're aware, but Coutinho is actually out of contract June the 30th this year. So at the end of the season, he's a potentially free option. Now I don't know how that works. I'm sure there would be something in this loan deal that we can't just let it expire and then take him.
I thought it was the end of next summer. I thought it was next summer he was out of contract.
Maybe
I can't believe we're going to be paying £33 million for a player that's out of contract when we sign him.
Yeah.
Well, that could have been the get around because they wanted us to have a must buy in the clause, so that could have been a get around of like, okay, I know his contract's up at the end of the season. If he does sign for Villa, we'll pay 33. That could have been surmising. But,
by all means, from what I saw online, it was saying this year. But anyways, we're not really sure. But now I think what's important is we try and look at Villa with Coutinho. So I've asked you all, and I've given you a bit of a task to kind of come up with these starting 11. So I'm just going to load up them on the screen one at a time. We'll talk. So have a little look, boys. I'm not sure whose is whose. So that is a 4-3-2-1. Who's gone with that?
That's me.
All right. So, do you want to take us through this a little bit, and then we'll come back to your face?
Yeah, totally. I just don't think Stevie G is going to be changing his formation. I think this is the way Stevie G wants to play, and the way I've been seeing it, Buendia has been getting more and more time under him. I think Buendia is his type of guy. I think Stevie G is really starting to get Buendia to feel that confidence. I think Buendia is going to be playing great. I think he sees Coutinho and Buendia as those two number 10s there. I don't think he's impressed with El Ghazi. I don't think he's really impressed with Traore. I wasn't this last weekend. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Bailey will be here for the long term. We did just sign him. I think Watkins has more to offer than Danny Ings does. I know a lot of people don't have that feeling, but I just feel like the upside of Watkins is far greater than that of Danny Ings. So I have Watkins up top with Coutinho and Buendia behind him. I really like that top three. I got Ramsey, Dougie, and McGinn. I do think we really need a new holding mid. Reports were today that we have asked Brighton to clarify their stance of Basuma. And that to me would be a bigger catch than Coutinho. A lot of people won't agree with me on that. But I think Basuma is the best center holding mid right now in the Premier League, let alone one of the best holding mids in the world. I think you put him with Dougie and McGinn. Oh my God. That to me just is amazing.
Yeah, no, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
continue. Sorry.
yeah, so that would be a really sweet one, but I just left the midfield as is. I believe I know we are looking for a new left back. That has been reported by The Athletic and many others. I personally like Lucas. I can never say his name. Digne.
Yeah.
Dinya, yeah, you got it.
Digne.
You go, JP.
I know. Look at me. And then, but
Training you.
but apparently we have reached out to Hickey. Either way, I'm okay with it. We do need a new left back. I think we also are going to need a right back because I don't think Gilbert has a future with us. And then pretty much my standard center backs, Mings and Konza, our captain Mings Luke, and followed up with Martinez. And to me, that team is a top 10 team. That team is pushing 8th place right there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just quickly, a shout out to some of the guys in the comments. Brian Hanna, I think with Gerrard coming in during season, he would have wanted to see what we had. And now he's been there for 8 games. He will see who's good enough and who isn't. So we might see those young players. Brian, I think we'd all agree that's absolutely bang on. And I think there is a number of guys that we wouldn't mind seeing out the door. For me, after the last week, Trez would be the first out the door, and what a shame, from such a great end to one season to something as ridiculous as that. But I just think he's had enough opportunity, and I think a lot of these players are going to be out on the way out. But a lot of interesting things to come. Brian Islands in the comments. Brian, what's going on? Thanks for nipping in. I'll throw this to you before we move on to the next team. Brett, Brian says, are you happy with the loan of Coutinho? And do you feel that he's passed it? We have touched on that a little bit, but I think that's harsh. Brett?
Oh,
You're on mute.
Yeah. You're on mute, Brett.
How old?
No, he's having audio.
One question.
Hello. There you go. You're back. We can hear you.
Am I here?
Sadly,
Yeah,
yes.
we can hear you.
Past it. How old is Mo Salah? Let me ask you that question.
Same age.
Same age.
Same age, 28 to 9.
There you go. Enough said.
Yeah, no, I think
Enough said.
a very fair point, and I think it's going to be interesting to see kind of how it plays out. But JP, I can't argue with the team. I think it's a very, very strong team. 1 or 2 little changes I personally would have made, but we're going to get to it. But before we do, let's move on to our next team. We have.
How do you take off the little Brian Ireland post?
Yeah, I think I should probably take Brian's post off first.
Actually, you should use it to cover this one because this one's actually mine. And as we were talking about on WhatsApp earlier, I friggin' hate doing these things because I really I'm not very tactically astute. I mean, I love the Villa and I've loved them for years, but I leave the tactics to the manager and the coaches. So I as soon as I submitted this to you, I realized I left out Buendia. I realized I left out Sanson. Ashley Young as well is obviously there and around the squad as well, and still has something to give as well. But my lineup was including the likes of Chucky. I want to see him getting more playing time, as we talked about earlier, and I think he could do a good job alongside Watkins and with Coutinho just in behind them. Ramsey, I think most of us have picked Ramsey as a starter, but again, I think it would behoove us to get another quality player in to play alongside him. Although, again, with the Coutinho signing, maybe he'll bring something to Ramsey's game as well. Central defensive midfield has been a position that for a long time, many Villa fans have felt that is a weak position for us. Today we've got Luiz and Nakamba. I think if we're looking at where we want to spend our money, there's probably other areas before that position that we need to upgrade. But again, feeling the pulse from what I read online, I would say probably left back is the area that Stevie G's probably got the biggest amount of focus on right now. Target had a wonderful season a couple of years ago and was really one of my favorite players at the time. But I think this season he's lacked a lot of the qualities that he had previously. And it's strange for me how he's regressed so much. And it's really quite sad because I do like him as a Villa player. I wouldn't suggest getting rid of him, but I do think we need an upgrade in that position as well. So the other 3-4 positions, Mings, Konza, Cash and Martinez, I think they pick themselves week in, week out. And as long as they're healthy, those are the guys that are going to fill out those final 4 positions there. Oh, and McGinn as well, obviously, there on the right side of midfield.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of option now, and I think it's going to be a really interesting one as well. Ross in the comments, Ross, thank you for the comment. He actually disagrees with Paul. He said, "I'm one of the few that don't think much of this move, and we don't think much of you, Ross." No, we do. I'm joking. It's an interesting point. He thinks Coutinho has depreciated quite a bit over the last few years. Deal is favourable for us being Barcelona. I'm wondering.
No, Villa. Ross
Villa.
is Boston.
There we go. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, good man. Love Boston. Just want to see the youth play a little.
Can I jump in on
I'm
this
going to take
one?
this. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
go-
Please, JP. But
if
just,
you wanna
I'm
go
just
ahead.
got. All I'm going to say, Ross, is I think you can see from the managerial position with Steven Gerrard the influence that a past player with such experience and such kudos in the game has around youth. And I think we've tried and tested, and you've got those famous lines, you don't win anything with kids and all that kind of thing. I think looking outside of him coming into this team and doing what he can do on the pitch, even if we feel he's depreciated, I still feel he offers so much. And as you said, Brett, 2 or 3 million for a player of this standard as a loan that doesn't work out. We spent that on Barkley, and what a waste of time that was. So I have to disagree, Ross. I understand your skepticism. I get it. I think being a Villa fan, there's especially the last couple of years, skepticism is a big part of being a Villa fan. So I totally get it. But JP, what do you make of this?
Well, I don't. I feel like everybody has their own opinion right now. If Philippe Coutinho is passed or not, I think only time will tell. The next 6 months is where we will learn. And if he's not up to it, then we're going to ship him off, and we're not going to spend the 33 million on him. And you know what? We move on. But the youth to me is a huge thing, and it's something I've always really pushed. I always liked to watch Southampton and see them playing 18, 19, and 20-year-olds and having 2 or 3 of them in their lineup. But as I've become more and more aware, when you look at teams that are breaking into the top 6, and we've watched kind of Tottenham over the last few years, and Leicester, and when Man City finally got their money, there's a time period where while you can bring youth around the club and you can help them, you have to pick, right? Are you there to develop youth players, or are you there to win? And if you're going to say you can do both, I'm going to say yes, but you already have to have that tradition, that quality, the mindset, the flow of winning on top of it. You can't just work in youth players while you're trying to become a top team. It just doesn't work. You gotta surround them by supportive players.
And if I may jump in as well, again, fully agree with you there, JP. I think the problem we've got at the moment, and it's a nice problem to have, is we have so many youth players coming through, right? And again, to your point, you look at the Man Cities and the Liverpools
Exactly.
and the Chelseas, they'll bring 1 player in a season, maybe.
Yeah.
We've got 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 players that potentially are going to be stars in the Premier League, but you can't introduce 4, 5, 6 players into a squad all at one go, in my opinion. Not when they're all around 17 to 20 years old.
Simon, just to your point, so obviously we all know under 23s is the Premier League 2 now. Was it, I think 3 years ago, I think it's 3 seasons ago now, the Man City under 23 actually won that league. Of the 52 men within that squad and made up that depth, within 2 years, not a single player was still at Man City. And I think that speaks volumes to the point you made, Simon. And it's a good point. We've been really excited by some of the youth we brought in. Louis Barry, another player, went out to Barcelona, didn't work out for him, didn't get the opportunity. He's a Villa fan. He's come back, really excited for him. Went out on loan, didn't get the opportunity. He's now back in the club. I'm sure we'll see him go out alone again this January. But a lot of movement, and I think you're right. It's going to be hard for the youth to break through, but I think you need that balance. And I fully agree with you, Simon. I think having players such as this is important for the growth. So yeah, I again can't disagree at all. Brett, let's move on to yours, and hopefully our sound is up and running. So we have an interesting lineup here, Brett, and I think you've gone similar to what I was looking at originally, but talk us through, my friend.
Well, I'll start at the top. I'll work from the front back this time. I'd like to see Danny Ings still playing with Watkins. I do think there's something there's something to be tapped in there.
There's not there. They can't do it, man. Everyone said this. All the Villa fans have said this. They said Ings and Watkins, they're gonna play together. They are shit together. They are so bad together. So,
There's a key missing somewhere. There's something. Maybe Coutinho's this key, but there's something. There's somewhere these two have got to work together. There's got to be a way. The type of two players. One's a poacher, one's a creator. Those two have to link up somehow, and I just can't see how it won't happen. I might be wrong. Again, I've been wrong on things before, like Steven Gerrard, but here we go. Maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see. Maybe Coutinho putting in the middle between the two, or John McGinn. I think his place. I prefer him being pushed forward, but I think the only way of making him fit in this side, again, as you guys were saying, there's going to be many different dimensions of this squad, so many different styles of play, different angles, and different formations. It's so nice to have the flexibility. But John McGinn in our main 11, I think, has no choice but to come back a bit into a Douglas Luiz sort of position, maybe swap out Luiz as and when to get injured, or depending on the opponent, when you need a more defensive style of play. Yeah, I think this is the best way. Ben Buendia, push him out wide like he was at Norwich. And Ramsey, push him on the left, see how he gets on up there. But there's a lot going on in the middle, and we got to find. Gerrard's got his work cut out, figuring out a way of making all this work. But there is a key, and it's just finding the right one to get it all systems go.
No, I couldn't agree more, Brett. And I actually, JP, I love that you have skepticism, but I think you have to remember that Ings consistently performed for the last couple of years. 22 goals, 19 goals, and he was playing as a front two with Shea Adams, I think it was. So it does work, and there is a way, and I don't think you can have a finisher of Danny Ings' level and not keep trying to work him in. And I think all that's missing is that the last season, Watkins has been playing as that lone run, hold. And what I think what you have to understand, I think where the partnership might work, is that if you watch Watkins, he's rapid, we know, but what he's incredibly good at doing, and I don't think he even gets enough credit, is he's incredibly strong on the ball. Like, if you watch Watkins hold up the ball, he keeps guys twice his size off. He makes himself big. And to have that playing and linking in, that's what we need at the moment. I find them as two individuals trying to always be that selfish striker, but what we need is one to kind of supplement and to schmooze with the other, right? Rather than being two individuals, we need them as you know, playing as one unit.
It just screams you guys trying to put square pegs in round holes. Like, it seems like you guys are trying to force this partnership. We all know that Danny Ings was picked up with Jack Grealish money and the idea of chipping into the goals. But we also know that Villa for many years now has played with a front three or a front one. And I just don't see us trying to go with two guys up. I mean, we haven't played one good game with those two together. We haven't. And it's been like eight or 10 games now. So are we going to continue to watch this where we continue to put them together and they don't combine when we know results are now? Like, we're not spending money on Philippe Coutinho and some of these other guys we're buying so that, maybe next year we'll be pushing and the guys will link. No, just do the hard thing, chop off the foot, drop Ings, put Watkins up top. Watkins is younger, has more going for him. It's gonna end up being better for us in the long run.
Well, quickly before we move on, I want to put up Brian Hanna with a great point here. Brian said, but is the problem maybe Watkins? I love him, but maybe he's not happy with Ings, and that's causing the partnership not working. Do you think that maybe I get your point?
Who's younger?
It doesn't matter about who's younger.
Oh, it does. It does matter. Ings is what, 2, maybe 3 more years at the top, but Watkins is what, 24, 25. He has 6, 7, 8 years at Villa.
Yeah, but if Ings can play without Watkins and can bag 25 goals for us, I'd play Ings. I don't care about 3 years' time. I care about right now, because how are Villa going to be
goals
top
does
6 this year?
Each guy have? I think they're pretty much almost tied for goals.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, both of them are pretty low.
They are.
I mean, the comfort we do have is they are both scoring with or without each other. They're both putting the ball in the net.
They're both
So
scoring without each other, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
They're only scoring when the other's not playing.
So the confidence is there, but
Exactly. And Brett, I know you've got to get off shortly, so I'll throw mine up here. And similar to yourselves, I couldn't line up exactly, but I'm seeing more of a kind of a 4-2-2-1 kind of thing. Yeah, that's not right. That's missing one, but there we go. So basically, the back four, I've put him in the team because I think Hickey will be in this team before the end of the transfer. So if you don't know who this lad is, signed from Heart to Bologna for 1.5 million. Cracking player. He's been brilliant for Bologna. In the 19 games this season, he's scored 4. He's kept 7 clean sheets in those 19. And he's just been a brilliant player. And Gerrard actually tried to sign him at Rangers, so I think you'll see him at left back. I think Matty Targett has run out of chances, and I'm actually not too upset about that because I just don't think he's been good enough. I see Louise and McGinn being tried in that middle. I actually agree with was it JP Brett? I actually think, and talking about Louise, I actually think Louise could be fresh for the cut if he doesn't start playing like we saw when we were worried he might go back to Man City, because I don't think he has been good enough. I think his new relationship's getting in his head, so I think he needs to get his head back in the football. But John McGinn is a great player. I agree, Brett. I would like to see him kind of further forward, but I don't think that's going to work. I think it will be like deployed back to kind of fit him in. And then you see the likes of how do we fit him in? And I would love to see Ings as that lead striker. I'd want Watkins a little further out on the left, and I'd have more of a Coutinho, Buendia. I think I'd have Coutinho as a free role in that middle to have him to flow, allow him to kind of move around. But JP, I hear you. I really do. But I got to disagree again. I think there's still potential for Danny Ings in that team. So that's how I'm seeing it line up right now. I think things could change. But either way, guys, I think we'll all agree it's an incredibly, incredibly exciting time to be a Villa fan. Big shout out to Connor. Connor joining us, another Villa Toronto, very, very outspoken individual, and I love listening to him. Connor says, I do think the addition of Coutinho into the team possibly takes Ings out of the team. Well, you know what, Connor, you're out of here. That's one and done for you. No, I'm joking. I don't see us playing 2 up front. It will leave us too exposed. It's a fair point. And I actually don't disagree with that, but I think the next couple of weeks is going to be a very trying time for Villa. I think Gerrard has a lot of great players in his disposal. Let's not forget Marvelous Nakamba obviously will be back from injury, and he was playing very, very good football. So does he come? Does Louise get dropped for him? Does McGinn get dropped? We've got Sanson who was starting to get a look in. There's so much potential, and it's going to be up to Gerrard as a manager now. I think we're going to see Gerrard's managerial chops. We're going to see if he really is as good as we hope he is, because he's got an awful lot of players and youth to balance, and to find that balance could be really difficult. Before we go, just very quickly, gents, obviously there's a lot of links. One quick link we should talk about. Yves Bissouma from Brighton, we all know who he is, an absolute world-class footballer, is out of contract, I think, in about 18 months now. Yeah. They are saying that, they're saying that, I think is it Monk is saying that no one will be leaving the club. But if you put a decent bid in for this lad, if a 35 million bid is lodged, it's going to be very difficult for Brighton in their financial situation to turn that down. Lads, what do you think of the likes of Bissouma coming in? I think he comes in and that team's a very, very improved team.
Bissouma, one thing I want to mention, doesn't he, this got brought to my attention earlier by Chrissy, one of our Toronto members, doesn't he have a pending court appeal for assault of some kind in a club? Yes. I'd want that sorted before I'd even think about anything transfer-wise.
Wasn't it dropped?
I don't know.
It was dropped. I'm not sure. I know because I know Mendy's up for it. I know Bissouma's name was mentioned for some other thing similar-ish, but I don't think it had the traction, obviously, that unfortunately Mendy's has got. But it obviously, that is. I think Bissouma has incredible quality, but there is definitely there's definitely a bit of an ego there. Remember, this is the same guy who called himself the best midfielder in the Premier League right now. Going back a month and a half ago, 2 months. So I agree, Brad. I a little bit of me kind of looks at Zaha and goes, "Ooh, is this another Zaha waiting to happen?" I don't know what you think.
Zaha hasn't got the old police chasing him down there, does he?
That you know of.
Yeah,
That you know of. Now Zaha, he's such a quality player, But for me, Zaha, he cries too much, and I don't know if Boomer.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does the same thing, but again, you don't want too many big egos in your side. Man United is the perfect case of this. Every player has a massive ego, and they're not clicking, they're not gelling. You can say the same about England national teams of the past. Too many egos, too much going on in too many individuals. So, I don't know.
The only thing I'll say about this is we've been linked constantly with different holy mids, Romelu from Southampton, now Basuma, Dennis Zakaria from Modern Gladbach. All I know is we can't go through. I want, this is like the one thing as a fan, I want a big holding mid this window. I don't want to wait till summer. I don't want to wait anymore. We've waited long enough. We need a big holding center mid that's going to break up play, stop opponents' attacks, and put us on the front foot. So they need to figure it out, find somebody, go spend the money and get him. It's worth its weight in gold.
Where is that? Where does that Zachariah play again?
Shut the fuck up.
oh, JP.
Borussia Mönchengladbach, right?
Mönchengladbach.
Modern Gladbach.
Whatever.
You know that modern Gladbach.
The team that literally people don't say their name because it's so long and hard to pronounce. Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. It was an English pub went viral when they crossed it out on their billboard twice and just put that German team. And so they actually picked it up and printed a load of like kits and t-shirts with Borussia, that German team on, and they sold out. So you're not the only one, JP. Before we go, Kevin Hunter, get JP to say Mönchengladbach again. Kevin, I think the next pod is just going to be JP trying to say words. Brilliant.
Yeah, on my lines.
Before we go, Simon, there's been a lot of rumors. I mentioned Hickey. I think Hickey is looking very likely. I think Luca Coutinho has been linked with too many players, too many teams. I could see him probably going to a Newcastle as well. But no, Hickey, 1.5 million to Bologna, doing well, but Bologna need the money. A 20 million bid. I think he could be a great player. Is there anyone that you've kind of got your eye on, heard rumors of, that you'd like us to speak?
No, this is where my appearance on this podcast really is of little use, because I turn off all notifications during the transfer window because it just does my head in. It really does my head in, right? And as I alluded to earlier, 36 hours ago, who would have guessed that Coutinho would be pulling on a Villa shirt? Nobody, right? I just leave it to the management. And yeah, there are players out there who I like and admire, but I honestly. I couldn't tell you who we're being linked to because I just avoid it at all costs at this silly season.
Yeah.
Sorry, Luke. Agree. Sorry.
No. Listen, I think it's perfect. And last, I think this is my favorite comment from Connor. Is JP an undercover Southampton fan? I think you actually might be.
I'm an undercover Brentford fan, which is really harsh right now because we just lost to him. But I just love the setup. I love clubs that are successful in being ran the right way by bringing up youth, buying players that are undervalued, creating value in them, and then selling them off again. I find it impressive.
Well, as an American, you probably got 15 English teams that you support anyway, right?
No. I only got one. I only got one tattooed on me. So
yeah,
there you go. And it's not Villa. Okay, guys, well, listen, with that, we're going to wrap it up. Lads, thank you so much again to Simon Leach over at the Chicago Lions, to Brett Bates, the man, the myth, the father, soon to be the legend at Toronto Lions, and of course, the most charismatic and COVID-surviving mother, JP, California. It's always a pleasure. Lads, thanks for your time. We look forward to it. And you know what? I think we'll all agree we'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens. Guys, thank you so much. Speak to you soon.
This is the North End.